I'm right here on Fairfax and Wilshire, right next to the Petersen Automotive Museum. And about right there at this intersection is where the Notorious B.I.G. lost his life.
Both communities are mourning the death of the rapper known as Notorious B.I.G. Good evening, everyone. I'm Linda Laverne. Miriam is off tonight.
He was only 24 years old, was just starting what was expected to be a promising career in music. But tonight, it's only what could have been. Los Angeles police are investigating the shooting death of rapper Notorious B.I.G., also known as Biggie Smalls. He was gunned down early today. The rap star, whose real name is Christopher Wallace, had just left a Soul Train Awards party and was sitting in his car when a vehicle drove by and someone opened fire.
Biggie was going to his car and he heard the shots rang out. Everyone started running, but at the time we didn't know that it was Biggie that got shot.
Wallace was pronounced dead after being rushed to a nearby hospital. So far, police say they have no suspects.
What's going on, you guys? Welcome back to another video. Today's video, I'm going to be visiting the location where Biggie Smalls, Christopher Wallace, was killed. Biggie Smalls, born Christopher Wallace on May 21st, 1972. Biggie Smalls was born in Brooklyn, New York, and he was a hustler, sold drugs, and his mom was a single mother, and she didn't even know about all this until later on. Yeah, during the time Biggie was out on the streets hustling, his mom was always at work, so she didn't really know what was going on with her son. You know, especially being a single mother is pretty tough. Biggie also began rapping in the streets of New York, and he performed with the Old Gold Brothers and the Technique. His stage name at that time was MC West, not Biggie Smalls. And in 1989, he was arrested and charged for having a weapon, and he served 5 years probation. Around when all of this was going on, he made a demo tape called Microphone Murderer, and that's when he started using the name Biggie Smalls. And that's when a local DJ by the name of Mr. C discovered the mixtape, and he started promoting it, and not too long after, it was heard by the Source rap magazine's editor in 1992. After that editor discovered Biggie, Biggie was featured in the magazine's column Unsigned Hype, and that's when Biggie started getting more attention. Sean Puffy Combs at the time was with Uptown Records, and he heard the demo, and that's when they signed Biggie to Uptown Records. A little after Biggie signed with Uptown, they fired Sean Combs, and a week later he launched Bad Boy Records, and that instantly became Biggie's new record label company. And at this time, Biggie is still dealing with the streets, and Sean Combs actually convinces him to get out of there if he wants a real good life. Biggie released his debut album Ready to Die in September 1994. Busta Rhymes once said that Biggie was giving away free copies of his debut album Ready to Die, and that was his way of marketing himself, which is pretty smart. And who could forget the notorious feud between Biggie and Tupac? Once friends, now they're both gone.
While I'm in jail, strangers is telling me, yo, you don't know? Biggie homeboy shot you. Cause they bragging, they telling they in jail. Yo, we just got popped. Woo, woo, woo. And that's why what I'm doing, I know what I'm doing. I'm destroying them.
I was more in the mind frame of keep your mouth shut, Big. You know what I'm saying? Just don't feed into it. If you feed into it, it's gonna do nothing but escalate. You know what I'm saying? I knew it wasn't true. Well, at least what I knew I was getting blamed for wasn't true. I can't speak for nothing else. You know, I wasn't there. But I know what he was blaming me for wasn't true. So it don't make no sense me sitting there trying to make records or hit magazines and TVs screaming how it ain't true. You know what I'm saying? If it ain't true, I just gotta egg it.
Tupac and Biggie were really close, but that ended when Tupac was robbed and shot. Tupac accused Uptown Records for knowing the robbery was going to happen, and that's when the rivalry started between West and East. Tupac was shot 5 times, and he lost thousands of dollars worth of jewelry. That was on November 30th, 1994. It turns out that Biggie and his crew were at the same recording studio at the time of the shooting, but they denied knowing anything about it. Yeah, Tupac signed with Death Row and the rivalry pretty much took off. Tupac released Hit 'Em Up, and that was a really big diss on Biggie. On September 7th, 1996, Tupac was shot and killed in a drive-by shooting in Las Vegas, and then rumors started to spread that Biggie was involved. The next year, after Tupac died in February 1997, Biggie traveled here to California to promote his Life After Death album. In an interview with a radio station, Biggie Smalls actually says that he hired more security because he feared for his safety, not because he was a rapper with a rivalry, but because he was a celebrity. But it turns out that that security was not enough to prevent what was going to happen to him on his trip here to Cali. On March 8th, Biggie attended the 11th annual Soul Train Music Awards. After that, he came here to the Petersen Automotive Museum for an after party. There was a number of celebrities here attending the party as well. And early next day, the fire department comes here and they shut down the party because of overcrowding. Biggie then left the party with his group in 2 GMC Suburbans, and they were going back to their hotel. Biggie was in the passenger side seat, and they came to this intersection right here, Fairfax and Wilshire. It was around 12:45 a.m. The streets were crowded, people were leaving the party, and a black Chevy Impala pulled alongside Biggie Smalls' car right here. And it was reported that the guy driving the car was an African-American man dressed in a blue suit and bow tie. He pulled out his gun, shot at the car, hitting Biggie and his crew, and they rushed Biggie to Cedars-Sinai Medical Center. Biggie Smalls was pronounced dead a short time after at 1:15 a.m. Biggie Smalls was 24 years old, and his autopsy was released 15 years after his death. The final shot Biggie was hit with was the fatal one. Biggie's funeral was held in Manhattan on March 18th. After that, he was cremated and his ashes were given to family, so there is no final resting place to visit. The person who killed Biggie Smalls was never caught and never identified. Biggie's second album, Life After Death, it was a double album. It was released 2 weeks later, and it reached #1 on the Billboard 200. Wow, fast car. Yeah, his album reached #1 on the Billboard 200, and it eventually achieved a diamond certification in the US. The Source magazine named him the greatest rapper of all time. And in 2020, he was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Yeah, and you see this is the parking structure that Biggie parked in. And right over there at that intersection is where his life was taken from him. It is a very busy intersection right here, so with that being said, thank you guys for joining me here, visiting the location where the notorious B.I.G. was killed, right here at the Petersen Automotive Museum. If you guys like these videos, give me a thumbs up, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.